When programming in Silverlight, WPF, console applications, and classic ASP.NET, responding to events such as a mouse click or mouseover is a common task. Luckily, Visual Studio makes it easy. In this lesson, I'll show you how to respond to button and TextBlock mouse clicks in both XAML and code behind, and I'll also show you how to create an event in a custom class and respond to it as well. So go ahead and open Visual Studio and create a new project as a WPF application. Go ahead and switch to XAML. And let's make this a stack panel. They can be easier to work in because things are just stacked up on top of each other. And let's make a button. Content of the button is get information. So let's see how that looks. Okay, it's a big long button. Let me show you how to work with XAML here. First we need a margin. So that'll look like this. And then we want it not to be a big button. You can put it in a stack panel with horizontal alignment left. And put this down here. And I'm doing Control D to align everything again. And if you look at it, then you have your normal button here. So now when I click the button, I want something to happen. And what do I want to happen? I want a text block to change its information. So let's call it, for instance, information area, and that's it. Now, so when I click this button, I want this text block to display, this is the information. You just have to click in your button, element, type click, tab, tab, it'll create a name for you. Right click on the name, navigate to event handler. There you are, information area, text equals, this is the information. Run it, and you're responding to the event. So that's how easy it is to respond to events, for instance, on a button in XAML. Let me show you how to do it in code behind. So that means we would need to have some kind of, for instance, a stack panel, a container to hold a button that we create in code behind. So let's call this, for instance, main content. And in code behind, we'll just create a button. Call it button equals new button. And actually, let's call it help button because it will be a help button. And then we can define the content just like we did in XAML. It's the same thing that we're doing here, building objects. Equals get help. And now let's just add this button to the main content stack panel. So help button is now a child of the stack panel main content, which we defined here. And we need a semicolon. So let's see if we actually have our button. We'll run it. And we do. But it's very long for the same reason. The way we solve that in XAML here is we put in horizontal alignment left. So we have to do the same kind of thing. We just have to put it in this stack panel. We'll run it again. So now we have two normal buttons. Let's go ahead and put some margins in there too, just to keep things nice. This is left, top, right, bottom. So we'll do the same thing here. Margin, left, top, right, bottom. And run it. Now let's respond to this get help button. By when we click it, we want this to say, this is the help. And we do that instead of with a parameter in the element here, we'll do it in code. So you say help button, click, plus equals, space, tab, tab, and Visual Studio creates a event handler method for you just like it did from XAML. And we just say information area text equals, this is the help. So now when we run it, we have two buttons which change that area. One in XAML, one in code behind. So that's how you respond to click events on a button What if you want to respond to click events on the text as well? So if we have a text here and we want to be able to click this text and change it, you can do that as well. It's slightly different. Let's do it in XAML. We want to do it here on this information area. If you try to say click here, you'll find that there is no click, but there is a mouse down on the text block. So just do that, tab, right click, navigate to event handler, and it's the same thing. You clicked the information area, and we'll run it. And get information works, get help works, and I click this and it changes it. A nice effect is to add a cursor, which is a hand, so that when they hover over it, the user gets an indication that they can click on it. So not only can you respond to system events like click and mouse down very easily, you can also create your own events in your custom classes and respond to them as well. Let me show you how to do that. In our code behind, let's make a new class called book. And in the book, we're going to have an event called onPurchaseMade and a method called purchase. And when we make a purchase, it's going to raise an event, which is like click, but instead of click, it's onPurchaseMade. So that when a purchase is made, the object book raises the event onPurchaseMade, and other code can consume this and respond to it. So let me show you how that works. We'll say public class book here, and it has two properties. Let's say a title and price. Remember, currency is always decimal. And then we have a purchase method. And what happens in the purchase method, we have some database changes that have to be done here in a real application. And then we say on purchase made, but first we have to build our event. Public event handler, we'll call it on purchase made. And then here we say on purchase made and send the whole object and with no arguments. And you actually only want to do this if somebody has subscribed to the event. So that's all you have to type, or that's the minimal that you have to type to have an event in your custom object. Now let's consume this event. So when we start the application, we create the button, and we'll also create a book. New book, and then we'll just define it here. The title is C# cookbook, and the price is $29.99. There's an error there. Does anybody know why? Because we forgot the M for a decimal value. Now we're going to, just as we did with the click, say on purchase made plus equals space tab tab, and now we're in our event handler. So when a purchase is made, then what do we want to do? Let's just inform the user purchase was made. So now when we run the program again, it should say purchase was made here. Why doesn't it say purchase was made? Because I forgot to call purchase, of course. So if I say purchase, then it says purchase was made. And note that you can do anything you want when you handle the event. So let's say when we click the help button, let's say that purchases a book. So we'll create the book here. Was VB.net cookbook, and price is $29.99, and we set the event handler. Let's change the name of this book so that we get a different name of the event handler, since it's all automatic. tab. And we can say, for instance, that when a book is purchased, to disable the Get Information button. So we'll give this a name. Equals button information. So in our event handler, when a book is purchased, when clicking the help button, then we say button information is enabled equals false. And of course, like last time, we need to purchase the book actually. So that was the first purchase. We click here. Now when we click the help button, it disables the Get Information button. Event-based programming is a powerful paradigm, and both Visual Studio and C# make it easy to implement in your applications.